Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this. Thank you for joining. And today's webinar is about how we can have fun with coding. And at the end of today's webinar, we are going to create a very interesting project. But before starting anything, let's watch an interesting video, which is based on a real life scenario. And after that, we'll start our discussion.
But they're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
We help people with human security issues by testing vulnerabilities for like a network test, but it's for the people network. We test those vulnerabilities, see where the holes are, and then help people learn so they can patch them.
Can we try some of this? Can we try some?
Yeah,
see if it works.
We probably could have our star Visher here make some phone calls as.
Let's do it.
Sure. Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically, what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it. Who are you gonna call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and
Okay.
see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna spoof from your number, so it's gonna look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's fine and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
Gmail.com.
Jessica gets my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account. Okay, my name
Jessica uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
is 5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry. So there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my
Thank
password.
you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yes.
Bhumika, you are mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and before you begin, I'm so sorry. Actually, welcome, Professor Hamid. I see you are also here. Today we are playing more the kids role here because a lot of today's session is geared towards kids. But please be welcome to ask any questions after we are done with the session. Then in the end we will cover the AI part because today's most topic is about passwords and social engineering as fun for kids. All right, Bhumika, you can begin.
Okay. So, now did you guys note that how that lady got personal information of that person and changed it for her own self? This is known as social engineering. Even you might have faced a similar situation, or your parents have gone through a similar situation where a person says that he's calling from bank and he asks for OTP, and as soon as you provide that OTP, your money is gone. Not only social engineering, but there are other ways too, like phishing or spidering, which can be used to get sensitive information of people. These are just a few ways of hacking, but let's first understand what is hacking then. Most people think that hacking is illegal, and sometimes it is. Hacking is not actually what we see in movies. It's basically stealing others' data and misusing it. Even you guys have also done hacking, making prank calls to your friends and pretending to be someone else. It is sometimes for fun, but it is not supported. It's a type of hacking only. There are various movies also based on hacking, which you can watch to see how it affects our lives. But now that you have understood what hacking is, let me tell you some of the ways with which you can save yourself, and I'll tell you now how. So, these are the following measures you can take to be safe online, like not using open Wi-Fi's, using antivirus in your phones and laptops, or not opening unknown links. But the most common and the most important way which we use to save ourselves is password. Yes. So all our online accounts, all our social media handles, websites we log in, Google accounts also, these all contain passwords. These all are logged and protected by passwords. Even we are told to keep strong passwords for our accounts. But do we? You will be surprised to know that it just takes 10 minutes to hack a 6-character lowercase password. And most of us use the same passwords everywhere, like which is something like your name 123. But is that password strong enough to protect your data? You know the answer. Strong passwords are basically random passwords which are difficult to guess. Like if we visit a website and there we have a password field. So the Google suggests passwords to us so that we can have strong passwords for our accounts. Since it is a random password, it does not have any meaning, so it is difficult for hackers to guess. But now do you want to know that how these passwords get generated? Yes, this is our today's project and which we are going to create a password generator. So here we can set the length of the password which we want to generate and just click on the generate button and the password will be generated. As you saw that Google was suggesting, here we can generate our own passwords. So let's start building our today's project. But before building that, we need to know some of the concepts. So the first concept we need to know is loops. Now loops is a concept in coding. So first let's understand what is coding. So let's understand it with a car analogy. How does a car work? There is a driver inside the car which drives the car in a certain direction. It uses the steering wheel, it uses the pedals to increase the speed or decrease the speed of the car. So what is the driver doing? It is just giving instructions to the car that how it has to work, where it has to move. Similarly, in coding, what we do is we give instructions to the computer as we were giving it to the car. Giving instructions to the computer to do a task is known as coding. We say the computer to do this and it says, okay. Now we have understood the concept of coding. We are ready to understand the concept of loops. So for that, we are going to play a game. So let's open the game. And here, our mission is to help this character reach its destination point, which is marked by the red pointer. So, and the green arrow, which you can see, is the direction in which the character is heading. So, can you guys guess what would be the steps we would need to give this character so that it reaches its destination? You can go ahead and write the answers in chat box. Yes, Muskan is saying move forward. So we already have one move forward block inside this white space. So first let's run it and let's see what happens. Uh-oh, it hasn't reached the destination. So we need to have one more move forward block. You have guessed. Yes. So now let's run it again and see what happens. The character has reached its destination. We have successfully completed this level and let's move on to the next level. Now, in this level, this is a bit difficult one. Can you guys guess what will be the steps which we need to follow to complete this level? We are giving instructions using these blocks. So you can type whatever is written on these blocks in your chat box and I'll understand it. Yes, someone has given the right answer. So we need move forward block, then we need turn left, then move forward, then turn right, and then again move forward. Now let's run. That's interesting. We have successfully completed this level also. Let's move to the next level now. Yes, Mamta has also given the correct answer. Now, here, this level is similar to the first one, but you might see there are some variations here. So the path is longer, and in first level, we use 2 move forward blocks. So first, let's try that if we are able to complete this level with that. So Mamta is saying move forward and repeat 3-4 times. So yes, but Mamta, as you can see that as soon as we use one move forward block, all the blocks get disappeared. So we can only use 2 blocks. For that, we are going to use the concept of loops. Whenever we want to repeat a certain instruction again and again, we use the concept of loops. So here, as you can see, this blue block, it is a loop block. What it is saying that we have to repeat a certain instruction again and again until the destination is reached. So what do we have to repeat? We have to repeat the move forward block, move forward instruction. So now we are going to run it again, and until the character reaches destination, we will move forward. Now we have learned the concept of loops. So we are all set to build our project. So for building our project, we'll go to the funopia.com and we'll click on this FunAI button and we'll open the platform where we are going to build the project. So this is the platform where we are going to build the project, but there are so many features and we cannot learn all the features in one go. So let's try some of the features which will be helpful for us now. So at the left side, you can see that there are some categories in which there are different blocks in the form of puzzles. So we will be these blocks will help us in our coding journey. To get a hang of this platform, first use the text category block. Go to the text category and let's drag this print block out. So what did we learn in coding? That we give instructions to the computer. So what we are doing here, we are giving an instruction print to the computer. So we are telling the computer to print Funopia. As we run the program using this red button, it will follow the instruction and it will print Funopia on the screen. So it is how you work with these blocks and how you run the program. Now, to create our own password generator, we will be writing all the characters which we want instead of this Funopia, which we want to have in which we want to use in a generated password. So our password can have any character, any symbol, any number. So whatever your choice is, you can write it down here. Now, as we have written this characters, our next step is to go to the variable category and let the computer remember this, because it needs to remember it while generating the password. So a variable is just like a container which we can use so that the computer remembers what we want it to remember. So now our next step was to get one random character out of this set of characters. So for that, I have already a set of blocks with me which we can use to generate a random character. So all these set of blocks will combine to generate a random character from the above set of alphabets. Now let's run it and try it out. So every time we run the code, it is generating a new alphabet. But this is just one alphabet. We don't want our alphabet to be generated one time. So we will use multiple print statements. We'll right click and we'll duplicate. So as many number of times as we have the print statement, as many number of characters will be generated. So we'll run it again and we'll see what happens. So we are getting a 3-character password, but we want our password to can be of any length, and repeating this same print statement again and again is a very lengthy process. So what did we learn? We learned the concept of loops. So we'll use this loop category and we'll drag this first block out. We'll remove the other 2 repeating blocks of print and we'll attach one print block which is left inside this loop block. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to repeat same print instruction 10 times. So it will generate a password of length 10. So when we will run it, we will get a random password which is generated 10 times. Now we can use this password generator for generating passwords and using passwords on other websites. Now you can also edit the code in the editor by unlocking the editor, and you can change the options or you can write anything inside it. Like as I am adding some symbols or characters. Now let's run it. So the editor code will run and the password generated will be from there. So now we have generated the password and we can use it, but we still need some password managers to remember our password. We cannot remember this. So for that, we can use Google Password Manager or some apps like LastPass, which can store our passwords for us. Now, this is one way of saving ourselves, but still, we might get hacked. How? One common way to do so is phishing. You might be wondering how phishing. So in phishing, you yourself give your password and other sensitive information to the hacker. Just like to give you my experience, a few days back, I received a message from my friend, and she asked me to like an article she wrote. It was a sudden message, and we had not talked much. She asked me to like this article, and when she shared the link, and when I opened it, it was this screen. This login screen was asking for my Facebook credentials. I was suspicious about this website, and it seemed kind of fake. So I refused my friend, and later, when I again opened the link, it changed to this website. And when I asked my friend about this whole incident, she told me that her account was hacked and she was not the one sending the messages to every contact. So by careful observation and presence of mind, I was saved from this situation and I could have get my Facebook account hacked. You can also save yourself from such frauds and scams. This generally happens from the emails or messages you get from unknown sources. You need to always be careful. Now, I have an interesting activity for you guys. So here is a message, and you have to identify what all mistakes are there and what makes it look suspicious. So here's a message, and you can write what makes it suspicious, and you can write your answers in the chat box. So Muskan is saying spelling mistakes. Yes, there are spelling mistakes. And there are more mistakes also if you look carefully. Mamta is saying redeem. Rashmi is saying 0 instead of O. Yes, these all are the mistakes. And one more mistake is the spelling of customer. One more mistake we can find out is that it is talking about Indus IND, and it is sending a link of member pro. So these are all the things, these all small details can these all small details help us in identifying whether a message is suspicious or not. So now what did we do today? We learned about some things about hacking, and we created a Python project for generating our own passwords. But this Phanopia platform is not just limited to Python, but it also has AI support. You can even create your own artificial intelligence projects. So as you can see, there is a project section in the header. So when we'll go there, there are various projects you can try out and explore. So first, let me show you a Masketon project for now. So this project basically tells you that whether you are wearing a mask or not. So since it is COVID time, so it's important for us to wear a mask, but it is not possible that there is a person to check you whether you are wearing a mask or not. So taking help of technology to do so is very important, becomes very important. So this project, as you can see, Piyush is not wearing a mask. It is showing that no mask in a red box. And as soon as Piyush wears a mask, it says turns into a green box, and it says that he is wearing a mask. So this project, the speciality of this project is that it can be made just by using blocks. As we made a small project today, there is this code button associated with every project, which will land you to the code page, and you can create your own projects like this. You are not just limited to these projects. You can create as many number of projects on this platform. So this was all for today, and if you guys have any doubts, you can ask me, and you can go ahead and write them in the chat box. Now, as Mamta was asking that if we could show the code screen once, so Piyush, can you please switch to the code of my password generator? So everyone, if you have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask me. I'll be happy to answer.
Ma'am, can you move it to full screen mode? I cannot see it properly.
Yes, sure. So Rashmi, this platform is completely free. If you want to use it, if you want to try different projects, you can create them on your own. But if you are a beginner and you want help and support in learning on the platform, then for that we have personalized learning programs, and you can enroll yourself in them or your children. So I hope that answers your query, Rashmi. I have shared the link of the platform in the chat box.
Thank you, ma'am.
And if you guys have any doubts about the using the blocks, then we have the documentation of each block also. So for any block, you can just right click on that block, and there will be a help button which you can click, and you have a video here, and you have written documentation also that how you can use this block. But for more personalized learning, we have personalized training as well, which is one-on-one. You can have more details on the website. And is there anyone else is having any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's great. So
Bhumika, we also have some, Professor Ramesh friends from Turkey who have joined. I think Professor Hamid. Thank you for joining. Do you find this session, any doubts on the session on Fanopia platform? Dasi, is that completely free of charge? Yes, Professor Hamid, the platform, the learning platform is absolutely free. In fact, we have given, a lot of projects of AI and machine learning also in it, which are free. This is the only platform where you can go beyond just basic Scratch and not only write code, but visually do drag and drop of artificial intelligence or deep neural net or even statistical computing. And it's all free. So please you can use it. No, languages, the core essence of the platform is Python. And because that's the language which is also used for building fundamentals of artificial intelligence and deep neural net. So it was very essential that we reduce the learning curve. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I thought you talked about programming language. So, Rashmi, to answer your question, kids are, they can be at a creative plane Fanopia. In fact, I'll divide into two sections how they can benefit. One is because there are already ready to go projects. So no kid has to start from scratch. They can look at projects, play around with the existing code. And two, because this has got both the coding screen as well as the visual drag and drop, this allows kids to build visual associations and intuition while they're writing the code. Typically, the platforms like Scratch, they have an issue where the coding is, screen is never seen. So you are never able to transition from block-based coding to hard code coding. That does not mean that everybody should transition. For some, just block-based would work perfect because Fanopia can create industrial grade code, whether it is AI and machine learning or whether it is you're creating a Python project. And second part is the personalized learning. There students can benefit because we have created lot of gamification and nudges, and every lesson has a journey of itself which is personalized, not only to make it interactive and have clear objectives attained out of that, but it has actually been vetted by psychologists also that how we could spirally bind the learning as the course curriculum continues. So Bhumika, do you have one lesson journey as an example just to show for everyone?
yes, just
So as you can see here, we assume some people will come from multiple backgrounds. Some will have knowledge of basics of Python. Some will not have any knowledge. Some might know a little bit of AI. Keeping that in perspective, every curriculum is designed accordingly based on the child's personalization. And there is a 60 minutes class, for example, is capsuled in mini blocks of 5 or 8 minutes. And like Bhumika was showing, uh, the block where simple loops concept was being explained. So we have a fun zone. In that fun zone, so let's say you want to do if else here. So we have story missions, and in the story mission is that the bird has to pick the snail worm and take it to the nest. And this game they are playing for n number of times with levels being increased without they knowing that intuitively that so they're knowing it intuitively but without any theory of what they're learning about. And once those they have completed 8 levels or 10 levels, then we actually take them to applied screens or actual Phanopia ID, which you were saying. So what that does is it gives a child a reinforcement learning, so a reinforced spiral learning, but at the same time allows them to build it without any friction or barriers. So every lesson has been planned with certain blocks, certain activities, certain nudges, and then this is shared along with the parents. So you can go with both the methods in a self-learn journey, which is totally free. We have got basic videos, and we have pre-built a few projects, and obviously you can expand with your imagination more. And if you want personalized structured learning, whether that is for teachers and faculty or whether that is for students, that is also possible, right from Python to machine learning and AI. All is covered under the Phanopia platform. This is Asia's first drag and drop platform for artificial intelligence. Thank you. Any other questions, guys? Thank you, Professor Ramesh.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, if we don't have questions, thank you, Professor Hamid. So I think there are no more questions, Bhumika. We will, if anybody wants to explore, we will send you the Phanopia link on the WhatsApp, and all of you can explore the platform. Rashmi, the WhatsApp group is admin controlled because initially we had kept it open, and then what we realized is we don't want people to. Okay, so okay, you are not able to ask questions because it's admin controlled. No, I mean, Bhumika, can we allow participants to ask questions on WhatsApp?
Yes, sir, we can allow that. And I'm sharing the WhatsApp group again, link, so
Right.
that whosoever hasn't joined it can join it.
So we're sharing the link again. So yes, Rashmi, we will open it, and uh, Professor Ramesh had a point that students from Iran and Turkey should try this platform too. Sure, after all, we want to celebrate the digital revolution and cognitive computing era. So that is why more the kids use their imagination and play with the platform, the better it is for them. So we would love to support them in any way, whether students are coming from Turkey, Iran, India, also, or even from the US. Okay, so I think we have no more questions. So then I think we can end it here. Bhumika, do you have anything more to cover?
No, sir, I have told everything. I have covered everything almost.
All right. Professor Ahmed, thank you for the comment. I just saw that this is an interesting suggestion. Yes, so, sir, please reach out to us of how we can support students, in Iran and Turkey, and we will give you the logins. We'll, if you want, you can just click and register and get started on your own. And if any other help is required, that the whole team is there. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining. Bye bye.